Create, where we celebrate our love of writing and reading and creating worlds and talking about all of that. I'm Gaby Robbins, and today I have Kallie Ross with us. Can you say hi, Kallie?
Hi, it's so good to be here and see your faces.
Yes. And the ever wonderful Morgan Wylie is here.
Oh, hello.
And today I wrangled these girls into doing a fun Love, Write, Create. I enjoy watching BookTube, and I know probably lots of you like to watch BookTube, and they do fun things, tags, and different things like that, and it's always cool to find out what your favorite authors' favorite books are, the things they love, and so I thought, let's do a tag, and I saw one this month. I was actually watching, her name is Grace, and she's got a BookTube channel called Grace with a Book in Her Face, and she did the Disney book tag that was created by Katie Tastic, another girl who's a booktuber, and we thought it would be super fun to do the Disney book tag. So I'm going to start it off, and we're obviously there's 10 Disney characters to do book references to, but we're each going to do one, and then we're all going to do the last one, so that way we're not doing 30 books, because that's going to be a lot. But I want to give you all a little heads up. It's going to be just our opinions, what we love, and all that kind of stuff, so all in fun. So here we go.
Wait. We should definitely let people know that this is your Disney hangover happening.
Yeah.
Yes. So I am a Disney nerd. I am a Disney fanatic, Disney World specifically. I grew up in Los Angeles, so Disneyland is in my blood. But I just got back from a trip 2 weeks ago. It feels like it was forever, but 2 weeks ago. And I just need a little more Disney. So
Look, she's even got Mickey Mouse on her board behind her.
right, that was our Mickey board before we left. So yeah, I'm just not ready to erase it yet. Not yet. Not till I plan our next trip. Well,
So good. We love it.
yes. Okay, so here we go. Starting off. What you do is you name a Disney character and some of their characteristics, and you relate that to characters or types of books, that kind of thing. So I will start off with the Little Mermaid, and that is a character who is out of their element or a fish out of water. Okay, I will be completely honest with you. I know you guys aren't here to hear about the books that people, the Love, Write, Create girls write, but my first thought just right off the bat was Kelly, or Kaylee, I always say it wrong. From Silent Orchids, because she definitely was a fish out of water. So, but obviously, pick it up, Silent Orchids, Morgan Wylie. But my other answer was another K named Kylie Galen from Born at Midnight. It's a C.C. Hunter book. She is somebody who gets put at this camp, and she doesn't know why. She got into trouble. Gets put at a camp, doesn't know why, and it turns out that she really needs to be there, and she doesn't really know what she is because it's a paranormal world, so she could be anything, and it literally takes the whole series, and that one is, I can't remember the name of the series, but it takes almost the entire series for her to figure out. Shadow Falls series, yes, and I love that series, and I actually kind of spread that love of C.C. Hunter to the girls because we got to see her at Utopia, and she's awesome. So that's a great series. So that is number 1, The Little Mermaid, a fish out of water. All right, number 2. Who has number 2?
Oh, I do. So, okay, so I have Cinderella, and her characteristics, she is a character who goes through a major transformation. I love Cinderella. Okay, so I chose some books that were either recent reads that I loved or just some old-time favorites. Now, this is kind of funny because I'm going to piggyback on what Gabby said because Kylie Galen was one of my choices.
Yeah.
Because, yes, she starts as a fish out of water, but she grows through this series and comes into her own and makes a full transition of being who she's supposed to be, which you have to read the book to find out who that is. But this is what it looks like.
Yes.
This is book 1. It's Born at Midnight by C.C. Hunter. Great books. Get that. And this was a tough one. There are a lot of transformation characters that I loved. Another one is, and I just totally lost her name. Oh, here we go. Okay, this is the one. It is by Patty Larson. It is the Hale Coven series. It's a huge series, fantastic. I love them. The main character is Sidlin Hale, and she is a witch that just wants to be normal. So it's a little bit of a reverse as far as the normal girl wanting to be the witch. And so it's her finding her place in her coven, and how the transformation she goes through is very significant. And book 1 is, I don't have that one with me, that's why I'm holding up this novella. But book 1 is a family magic, and it just re-released under a new publisher, but it's fantastic as well. So I'll do 2. So those are mine.
Yay! All right, number 3.
Okay, so I'm gonna read my notes because I don't want to mess this up.
Yeah, like I just did.
Yeah. Okay, so number 3 is Snow White, a book with an eclectic cast of characters. So I first read this like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. That's kind of where I was going when I was looking for a book that has like this really wide range of characters, because Snow White, you know, she's real sweet and, you know, not very different, but all of these dwarves are different. And so I was like, what books are like that? And I have to admit that I went with 2 like mega books, okay? Because they just are epic like that. And the first one is Mortal Instruments. I would also like to throw in there, just like as an addition to that, is anything Cassandra Clare. I mean, just like honestly, I love her Clockwork series, and that's one of those that the Infernal Devices that's the same thing. Very eclectic cast. You've got warlocks, you've got hunters, you've got everything. I mean, and it's not even just the characters and what they are, but it's also who they are, because you have this cast of kids and adults that are still kind of all trying to find themselves, so they're all really different. Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, like if you are a fan of anything of Cassie Clare, then you know that it's just that way. And then the next one is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and it's one that got a lot of buzz, and it's also another one of those books where you have this girl that goes into a situation, and she does have kind of that evolving thing happening Cinderella-wise, but she also comes into contact with all of these people that are all so different than her. I mean, that's, I think, what is so neat to me about it is that she's like this kid that has grown up in this small town, and then the next thing you know, she's in a palace, and she's with all of these people that are conniving. And so for me, those have very wide, huge, big casts. And there's another one that goes with it, but I had to save it for one of my other ones, because I don't know if you guys realize this, but when we split these up, I ended up with the ones that are about the casts and not about the individuals. So there's so many that fit here, but I wanted to split them all up and use a different book for everyone. So that's my number 3, but I promise I have some other really good ones coming up.
Awesome. Okay. I think I had one of the more the harder ones. Number 4 was Sleeping Beauty, and that was a book that put you to sleep. Now, I'm all about the promote what you love, I like negativity, not cool with me, promote what you love, okay? And I will tell you that I have a rule that if I'm not liking a book, unless it's making me hysterical, like unless I'm crying, which that has happened, and I'm like, I just can't do this, it's painful, and not painful that it's bad, painful that the storyline is too painful, I will stop. So really, that's the only time that I stop. I have a rule that even if I'm not digging it completely, I will finish the book.
Yeah, so, me too.
I will just say this much, that this is no offense to, because I think so much of reading is so specific to the person, where one book is just, you know, it doesn't keep your interest, and another person thinks it's fantastic. So I began a series by Deborah Harkness, the All Saints or All Souls trilogy. And it started off with the discovery of witches. I read this ginormous book probably in 2 days. Like, flew through it, loved it, was so excited for the next book. Deborah Harkness, amazing author, is also a professor of history. So in The Shadow of Night, which was the second book, she really pulled out all of her info and put it in this book. And I know, like, there were, like, some, like, Madame Curie, like, amazing characters in this book. But I just got so bogged down by all the information that it was not as interesting to me as the first book. I mean, Shakespeare was in it. I mean, there was not a character that was not in this book, and it was awesome. And I probably, if I read it again, it might be more interesting because I could kind of really absorb more. But yeah, that book was definitely more difficult for me to read. I wouldn't say it put me to sleep because I was focusing really hard so that I wouldn't, like, lose my place.
You know what you should have done? You should have switched it up to something that kept you awake. Because I could answer that, because there's some zombie books out there that I did not go back to sleep. Like, I mean, I could not.
Anything horror, I'm a mess. Like, I sit and think about it, which is awful. So yeah. And I think, too, puts you to sleep is just something that's just not terribly interesting to you. I love the Lord of the Rings movies. I love the Hobbit movies. I've tried multiple times to read Lord of the Rings, and I can't. It's just so, there's so much to it. I think that's
a lot.
So much to it that it's so hard to get through. So I feel like, you know, there's some people, like my daughter can read Lord of the Rings, and it's not a problem. She's read The Hobbit and all of that multiple times. It's amazing. She's all into Vine and 8-second videos, but she can sit and read The Lord of the Rings, so it's pretty impressive. But yeah, that's mine. Sleeping Beauty, number 4.
Good job.
Thanks.
That was a tough one.
Yeah, that was tough.
All right, number 5, The Lion King.
Oh, that's me. Okay, The Lion King. A character who had something traumatic happen to them in childhood. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, and really, they kind of go hand in hand to the Cinderella one that I had. Most stories that start with a traumatic beginning, you've used that to strengthen your character and transform into who you're supposed to be. So this one was tough because it had a lot of crossovers, but I'm just going to pick 2. Okay, so just because I love it and I can, and I'm gonna say Harry Potter because
you Harry Pottered before me.
What?
Harry Pottered before me.
I might do it again too. Okay, so I don't think that I really need to explain that. So then this other one, I'm kind of just fitting in here because I think it works, but it's a different take on it. I recently read The Collector's Society by Heather Lyons.
Nice.
It is an Alice in Wonderland. It's not a retelling. It's kind of its own unique spin on the character Alice. And really, Kallie, this would work with yours on the cast as well. There's an eclectic cast of characters in this that I loved. But Alice, in her childhood, went to Wonderland, and it is portrayed in this as really a traumatic experience that has shaped her and created her. There was positivity, like you see in the cartoons, but there was also a lot of negative things that influenced this character.
Have you ever read Lewis Carroll's version? I mean, like the original version?
No, I haven't. I haven't read through it, but I have it. It's on my list.
It's an adult book.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So this definitely takes the character from probably that point of view. But it's a brilliant book. All the characters are fantastic. She brings in all these different storylines of classic characters. And anyway, so that's my pick for that.
Cool.
All right, number 7.
Number 7.
Wait,
no, well, I've got. Are you sure?
Wait, you have
6.
It's 6s.
I have 6.
Oh, 6. Sorry, I skipped you.
Right, you wanted to steal my Beauty and the Beast moment.
Sorry.
Okay, so I'm a Belle, fanatic, so I was really excited that I got this one. Okay, so we're looking at Beauty and the Beast, and it's about books that are intimidating, but you found the beauty in the story at the end. So like a big honking book. So this was actually really easy for me because the first one, I'll go YA first, and that is probably Bitter Blue by Kristen Cashore. Anything that Kristen Cashore writes is like epic and huge and mammoth, and then you read it and you're like, oh, this is awesome. So, and I wanted to go modern day, not anything too classic and bore everyone. So other than Bitter Blue, I also chose Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. Gayabaldon. And it's one of those novels that I was like, no, I will not read it. Like, not necessarily because it's not a book I would want to read, but because it's a show now, and I actually watched it before the show came out, but I knew it was coming out, and anyway, there were a few moments that I had to get through, but not because of it being boring or anything, but because it was so hard. Like, it was like I don't know if I could let this enter my brain, because it just was, I can't imagine. So anyway, so Outlander is one of those where I was looking at the size of it thinking, there's no way I'm going to enjoy this, and then I loved it. So, yeah. Those are my two.
Cool.
Yay. All right. Number 7 is Aladdin, a character who gets their wish granted for better or worse. And so I chose Ash from the Iron Knight, the Iron Face series by Julie Kagwa. And in that book,
That's a good one.
He has to make a really hard choice. And he chooses to find a way to be with his girl, and basically, I don't want to spoil it, but he has to make a really hard choice. And he makes this wish, and he gets to see what could happen negatively before he actually makes the choice, and he has to choose whether he wants it or not, which I thought was brilliant. Like, it was so brilliantly written. And it's probably my favorite, like, fantasy book, as far as you have this strong knight who's willing to sacrifice I'm in love with Ash. That's pretty much what it is. But it was just beautiful. I just loved it. And it was so fantasy. It was so fantasy, that part of the book, that it was very much like, almost like an Alice in Wonderland. Like, it was just so cool and out from, like, totally out of left field from what I thought I knew about the world that she had created, that it just was it was awesome. It's one of my favorite scenes and one of my favorite parts of that whole series. And then another one, which is probably something that people are going to be like, really? But Bella in Twilight, in Breaking Dawn, when she decides to become a vampire. I feel like it's the best decision of her life, because Bella's a better person as a vampire, people.
She's not a wuss or a whiner anymore. Come on now.
Bella is better as a vampire. So she made a choice, and it was definitely a positive choice in her life, because she becomes this amazing, awesome partner to Edward.
Whatever. She makes bubbles. She can
make bubbles. Come on.
I make bubbles, and they are not nearly as, like, impressive as Bella's bubbles. Okay. Edward.
He transformed.
He fits into the family. Yeah. So that's my answer, and I'm sticking to it.
It's good. It's good.
All right. Number 8.
Ooh. All right. Mulan, a character who pretends to be someone or something they are not. Ooh. Okay, bringing it back around. Harry Potter.
Oh my gosh.
Snape.
Oh my gosh.
Come on. Snape.
Are you going Moody Mad Eye on this one? Or Mad Eye Moody?
I'm going Snape.
Ooh.
That's good.
Yeah? You think? Yeah, that's what I'm going with. I'm sticking to it. I'm sure everyone in the world has read or watched the movies, but if not, I'm not going to ruin that part, because it's a very pivotal thing. So, read it, watch it, but Snape.
Snape.
Yeah, I had another one, but you know what? I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I see how it is. I see how it is. You know what? You just watch out, woman, because I'm about to get you right back. Because number 9 is Toy Story. And it is all about a book with characters you wish could come back to could come to life.
Mm.
And if there is any series I want to bring people to real life from, it is Harry Potter. I mean, let's be honest. Hermione and I are going to be best friends. Ron is going to have a crush on me. Harry is going to still be with Ginny because he's not my type. But, you know, like, it's going to be one of those, like, I'm going to be buddies with Professor McGonagall. We're going to turn into cats together.
This is what I want to know. Are you bringing them to life in our world, or do you want to be in the Wizard world?
No, let's go to their world.
I want to go to their world.
Would both of you please just take a second? Are you both telling me that you don't believe that Hogwarts is really a place that it's like existing?
I want to go there though. I don't want Hermione to come to my house. I want to go there.
Yeah, no, I got you. That I mean, like, but if you could bring them to your life in your life, then they take you back because you're best friends after that.
Oh, well, okay, that works.
We can't be Muggles if that is the truth. Then if they're coming into their world, they're gonna have to do something to make.
They're coming to get me because they made a mistake when they sent me the letter when I was 11.
Your letter.
Okay, but I have another one too.
All right.
Okay, so I don't know how y'all are gonna feel about this. But if I could bring characters to life out of a book, another one I would choose is the Tiger series with Colleen Houck. Because if I could bring 2 tiger princes to life, it would like me a whole lot, and I was a teenage girl, I would totally go for that.
I have not read those yet. I need to.
I know. I've heard great things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Colleen Houck,
So-
those are my good ones.
This is the last question. All 3 of us are going to answer, and I'm going to start because I know people are going to choose my answer or be in the same book. But I've literally, I like sat and thought, and you know, besides Maleficent, who I feel like is the ultimate like scary-looking villain, especially.
We have to read the question.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Disney Descendants, your favorite villain, or morally ambiguous character. So besides Maleficent, which I haven't read that book and I really want to, but the one character who I just always, every time I think of a villain, I feel like there's some villains that are just bad, right? They're just bad. They're bad to the core. But I feel like there's some villains who choose being bad for such ridiculously like selfish reasons that you're just like, they're a villain inside and out. Now, obviously, we're talking about characters. I think differently about people. But my villain is Bellatrix Lestrange from Harry Potter, just because I felt like the woman, everything she did, she was like basically prejudiced against Muggles. She was prejudiced against people that weren't evil, apparently, because everybody else was just not on her same page. And she was so entranced by Voldemort, she would do anything, and she just did such awful, awful things. I mean, I just think about the Longbottoms and ugh. So all the villains, like her, it just gets me every time. So Bellatrix is my choice from the Harry Potter series.
Good one.
It's one of the reasons Molly Weasley is one of my favorite characters.
Exactly.
Is because
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, Morgan, you're up.
Okay, I am going the morally ambiguous route, and I picked, it was tough, but I'm picking Luther of the Thorn trilogy by R.K. Riles. He is a demon, but he has a soft heart. He finds love, and he definitely makes selfish, self-serving decisions. He's a demon. He's got an ultimate goal and motive, but in the midst of that, he is true to his love. and he's very endearing in who he is, even though he's kind of a jerk too. But but to the ones he loves, he is very loyal and very loving. So I love those books.
Okay. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Were you saying something, Gaby?
It's on you. You're the last one.
Okay, so I have one that neither of you have read, I'm pretty sure. And it is called Steelheart, and it is by Brandon Sanderson, and it is ridiculous because it is about superheroes, like people, superhumans, but that, and I don't know how much if I want to give away, but it's that these superheroes have taken over the planet and are now bad, but they started out good. And it's this idea that too much power leads to bad things, and that's kind of where the story unfolds, but it is amazing. And it's set in Chicago, and there's this guy that he used to save everyone, and now he's ruling everyone. And it's a really cool story. And from what I understand, I've only read the first novel, but I know there's like a set of them, and they come from a different character's point of view. Each one is different. And but the first one I really enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to having a little time and reading the others. But yeah, anything Brandon Sanderson's pretty good. But it's one of those where you don't think about it, and what if I mean, sometimes in comics you have a superhero that goes bad, but it's because of like some rock, like with Superman. It's like, okay, that rock makes him bad, but this is actually that the power that they have grows so strong, not just physically, but in their mind, and it makes them bad.
Wow. I have that on my shelf. I have to read that.
It's so good.
Okay, well, that, my friends, was the Disney book tag.
Woohoo!
Enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. I mean, it took a little bit of, like, really digging because, after reading so many books, you have to kind of, like...
So many, yeah.
Yeah, like, go back and try to figure it out. But it was super fun. I will leave, or one of us will leave the links to Katie Tastic and Grace, their Disney book tags. And the questions so that you can see what we answered. And thanks for watching. Everyone want to say bye, or do you want to do like see you later?
Toodaloo. I'm excited about getting back together with you guys and talking about.
Yeah, we have lots of projects going on. Obviously, me just writing my book, and then we've got. Am I saying it right? Dynamis. What?
We think so.
Yeah, we think Dynamis or Dynamis, or it sounds exciting either way.
Yeah, Dynamis is going on, which if you don't know what that is, #Dynamis, search it, find it looked at Kallie's pages, Instagram, Facebook, all the stuff, and Morgan's pages, because it's going to be fantastic. I'm super excited about all that. We should do a book tag, like with all the different kinds of characters that are going to be in this. I'm just warning you people, we got Cupid. We got necromancers. We've got, what are the people? The Asgardians, which means there's going to be Thor-like characters, people. Characters. I mean, there's just tons of them. So check it out, Dynamis, plus everything else the girlies are doing. So, Love Right Creates.
#Love Right Creates.
Have a good September fall day. We love y'all, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.